The San Francisco Gen AI Collective has rated Katalist as the best overall product. And this is something that's fantastic because I've been talking about Katalist for a while now. And I've been showing many lessons, but I wanted to share a walkthrough of what you can do with Katalist if you want to tell great stories. You have ultimate control over your characters. You can build consistent characters. But let me show you what Katalist is all about through its Storyboard AI.
Have you ever wished that you could see your story before writing every detail or as you're writing every detail? Now, we can discover how AI storyboarding can help you visualize those ideas effortlessly. What is AI storyboarding? AI storyboarding transforms your written concepts into visual scenes, helping you to refine your story's flow and impact. This can apply to either fiction or nonfiction. And right now we're in the Katalist Storytelling Studio. So let's take a look and see how that works. There are 3 ways you can start using the Katalist Storytelling Studio to storyboard your ideas. You can upload a script, you can paste it from the clipboard, use a text, PDF, CSV, or Word file, or you can even I think you can even upload a video in here. You can also generate a script based on an idea. You can change the idea here. Say I wanted to create a story about office bully gets taken down, instant karma for messing with the wrong employee. You can actually put the idea in here, click generate script, and it will come up with different frames that you can use as your storyboard. Or you can do something start from scratch. You can create a completely blank project and then go for it. However, if anything, if I have an idea, I would rather use the AI script assistant or upload something, which I've used these two. I've not really used a blank project, but you can go ahead and do that. So for this, I'm just going to go ahead and generate the script so you can see what that looks like. Okay, now that we've got our cast of characters, we can go ahead and create a project. Now it's taking its time to extract the script and come up with the locations and all that stuff from that previous part where it came up with all the different frames. So that image of the text that you can edit, that's when it was going to come up with the frames, it was going to come up with the settings and all of that. And that, of course, is editable throughout the process. So when you actually go ahead and just let it do its thing just from the get-go, then you have an idea of seeing, okay, this is what it thinks, and this is what I need to change. It helps to really visualize the scene in each frame, and then you can go ahead and change the frames however you need to. So let's go ahead and take a look. So far, it looks like Tom is in character, and we're seeing Jane at her desk with another character. So it does bring in other characters into the scenario. There are plenty of characters to choose from, so you can go ahead and edit those as you see fit. So let's take a look at this first frame. So let's go ahead and edit this. So this is considered shot 0, the first shot. And we can go ahead and choose the different shots that we want. So far, this is an eye level shot. And you have the ability to choose a shot from above, below, a straight shot, an eye level shot. It actually goes through all these different frames and angles that you can use. Let me see. You can do a medium shot, extreme close-up, a long shot. So you have all these different ways to present the scene in a way to draw people into the drama. So I'm going to leave these shots as they are at the moment. So let's go ahead and take a look. So this is the part where you can change the prompt. For example, Tom smirking, looking over at a stack of paper at Jane's desk. And then you can go ahead and see that Jane is disheartened. And you can see that the characters are down here. Let me bring this down a little bit more. The characters are down here, Tom, Jane, and the boss. And you can go ahead and add or change some kind of a different look. For example, #Tom, that's how it calls on the character. So when it says Jane smirking, this smirking right here, it's bolded. That means that there's an additional emphasis. If you wanted to de-emphasize something, you can go ahead and bring it down. It won't be bolded anymore. But if you wanted to actually add emphasis to it, then you can go ahead and put that up to whatever degree you want. So I'm going to actually change the prompt a little bit because I want it to be a little bit more intense. Jane looks a little bit too happy. So I'm going to have a couple of different emotions in here. So Jane is both disheartened, Jane is frustrated, and Jane is also helpless. So what I've done is I've actually separated these adjectives with commas, and I've made a strong emphasis on each. So along with the prompting, we can actually do some advanced, we can add a negative prompt here to see what else we don't want to see in the scene. It's very much like image generation. Well, it is image generation. And you can tell Katalist what you don't want to put in the scene. So far, we're going to leave this blank, but it's there if you ever need it. Now, as far as the location, those are the locations it came up with when it was creating the script. Now, if you wanted to alter the prompt for the background of the location, you would actually scroll down here to do it. Click on the pencil, and then it will come up with a name, and then you can come up with how you wanted the location to be presented. In this case, we have an office environment. It's bustling desktop, computer, stacks of paper. So it's a busy atmosphere. So this is something that, again, if you wanted to emphasize certain parts of the scene for this frame, you can go ahead and alter this location and then save location. And then what it would do after that, once you have the alterations, which I didn't make any alterations here, is that you can either you want to regenerate the frames for this location, or you want to just skip that and just continue with the editing. So we're going to skip because I didn't make any changes to it. So we're going to go ahead and skip that. So again, this is right-hand section here is where you are setting up the camera shots, the characters, you're doing more prompting. And then after you've done all the changes you need to do, then you can go ahead and generate, and it will generate up to 4 images at a time.
Thanks for your time. If you find what I'm putting out here valuable, useful, of course, like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you're so inclined, buy me a coffee. Buying me a coffee not only keeps most of my content free, but it also keeps me from relying on sponsors. I'll leave a link in the description, but anytime you want to do that, feel free. Thanks.
Great. Now here we see the different updated images that we can go ahead and take a look at. Now we're seeing that basically we have Jane here and then another coworker. And we have Jane and it looks like Tom. And then we have another render here of the two of them. And then we have another render here. So what we're seeing is that the first image could definitely be the one that we want to stick with, because that seems to lend a little bit better that seems to lend to the scene a little bit better. So if that's what we choose, we can go ahead and just delete these. Now I'm going to go ahead and talk about this section right here. Here is where you choose or assign that image to the storyboard. So right now we see the green outline for this one. This one is the one that was assigned to the storyboard. If, for example, we wanted to update it to this one, we would actually go ahead and click on that and then click the assigned image. And we see here that this turns green. But I'm actually going to go ahead and reassign this one. If we wanted to upload an image in here, you can upload your own images. For example, if you created an image that is modified and you created it in another platforms, for example, like 𝓷𝓮𝓮𝓭 AI, which I've done plenty of times, I uploaded the image here and it works with that image. You can also download this image if you wanted to do some adjustments to it in a third-party software like Leonardo or Photoshop. You can go ahead and download this image. You can convert it to video, and we'll do that later on. The posing tool is also something we'll talk about. Generative fill, that's another option as well, or you can crop it. So here is where you have the switches or the features that you can activate to edit this particular image. So for example, let's go into the generative fill one. Okay, for this one, I'm actually going to delete this one right here. I'm gonna delete this one. In this case, I wanted to edit her top. It's a nice blouse with a jacket over it. So I'm actually going to go ahead and click on the generative fill tool, and it comes up with this circle right here. Now the brush size, you can actually do it larger, as you can see right here, which would do this a lot faster, or you can do it smaller, especially if you're doing something, a very fine element in here. So, but let's go ahead and make this a little bigger because I'm definitely going to be making some adjustments here. Great. Now the prompt here is that nice blouse, woman's blouse with a jacket. So I've made that adjustment here, and it will only go in this section right here. So let's see how it comes up, and then we'll go ahead and refine it a little bit more. Okay, great. Now we've come up with a few more renders of that edited element. So let's take a look. Okay, that's actually pretty decent. I like that one. Cool. So you see, it actually, you can edit certain elements within the frame and make it more aligned with what you want to see. So those are the little refinements that you can go ahead and do. So for this one, I'm actually going to go ahead and choose this one because I like the top and it fits more. So I'm going to go ahead again and assign this image for the storyboard for this frame. So when we go back to the storyboard, we see that this is the image that shows up in our story.
Now let me go ahead and show you how to pose a character a little differently. So say we have Jane and her coworker Misty. So say I wanted to move Jane's arms, just her arms a little bit. So this is where the posing tool comes in. And this is the feature right here. So we click on this posing tool. Katalist picks up on the people in the image, and then it gives us the ability to move their body specifically. For example, this is representing Jane's arm. So I'm going to go ahead and double click, and I'm going to actually move her arm or her wrist down here and move her arm out a little bit. And then we'll see once I generate, then I have the ability to regenerate this image, and then her body will assume the new position that I've given it. Great. Now we see there that it's generated, again, 4 new images every time. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how it represented the change I made. Remember, we moved our arm out here. So we see that it has been moved right here. Great. So, we can take a look and we can pose the bodies of the characters however we need to with this posing tool. And of course, that can add more to the story and give it a bit more authenticity.
You have the ability to animate your images within Katalist. It's very simple. Just make a simple clip of the images. So how you do that is that you actually go to the selected image. This is the one again with the green outline, and you choose this. This is called the Generate Video tool. So you go ahead and you do that. And of course, it will come up with a few different renderings that you can choose from and edit from there. Okay, great. So now we're seeing that both characters have been animated, but it's not exactly ideal, and that's fine. That's how the tool works right now. So what you have the ability to do here is you can regenerate the image with less motion. You have 4 different choices here. You have less, medium, more, and extreme. Now I caution against extreme because of course that's where things can go extremely wrong. No pun intended. But you can have definitely unstable results. And at medium, sometimes that happens as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to regenerate this image with less motion. And then you can go ahead and play around with it. Even with less motion, you have a chance for instability, but it's not as likely as with the extreme motion option. So with less motion, you can actually work your way. If you see that there's less motion, you can try it again. Or you can decide, okay, let me try medium motion again. Depending on how the software is working at that moment, you can go ahead and just play around with it until you get enough of movement that you can work with in maybe CapCut or whatever your video editing software is. So let's go ahead and generate with less motion. With videos, they do come out one at a time. They don't come out like with images 4 at a time because, of course, videos take up a lot of processing power. So with this one, we're seeing that this second character is very active, and this character is just nodding her head. So let's go ahead and try less motion one more time. Okay, so again, she's very active, but this one is more slight. So what we can do is that we can go ahead and we can probably work with her and have a close-up of her when we're doing the editing and just leave this one out, or we can slow it down, however we want to do it. But this just shows you that you can animate, and it takes a few generations to animate, at least in a way that you may want it to be animated. And then you can go ahead and use that clip as your main image. But if you notice here, you can download this MP4 as a video and then play around with it later. When you are animating and you want to change the image that you're animating so that you can have a variety of different images to play around with, you can go over here to the right and choose Change Assigned Photo. In this case, I've gone ahead and I've chosen this photo right here. So, and I'm going to do Generate Video. And this is the result of that. As you can see, this is less motion, as this is what we were trying to do here. So it does keep that general motion direction. And then if we want, we can add more direction to it and add medium motion. But for right now, I think for this one, we can probably generate another couple different ones to see how we can best improve the motion of this character.
Maintain character consistency and quickly create ad concepts and visual pitches. Ready to see your ideas take shape? Create with Katalist, https://bit.ly Katalist.